Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the song Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash. And a couple of things to know about this song. It's commonly called Folsom Prison Blues because it follows a standard blues format where you've got typically three chords played in a specific fashion. Now, a blues can happen in any key. In this example, we're going to talk about Folsom Prison Blues in the key of E, which is technically not exactly right, but most people will play it in the key of E. Johnny actually played it in the key of E, but he used a capo on the first fret. So he sang it and it sounded as if it was in F, but we're going to approach it as it was in as as if it's in E, which most people play it in the key of E. Okay, so again, we're talking about three basic chords, and there's also a fourth one that's thrown in just for a little extra flavor. So if we're in the key of E, those three basic chords are going to be E, A, and B7. And telling you why it's B7 rather than B is a little bit beyond what we want to talk about as far as theory at this point. So just take it for granted that a B7 will work best on this. Oops, there we go. And Johnny also throws in an additional chord to the standard blues format, which would be E7. That gives the song a little bit more of a blues flavor. It's an interesting twist. Not a lot of blues songs will do it in the fashion that Johnny did for this particular song. Couple of interesting things to note about the song. Let's see, the original is recorded at about 100 to 101 beats per minute. I'd suggest that a beginner take it slower at maybe 80 beats per minute, or 70 or 60 or whatever's most comfortable for you, so that you can play it cleanly, and then start ramping that speed up as you get more comfortable with the chord changes. The beginner probably should take it as one downstroke per beat, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Hear the train a-comin', rolling round the bend, etc., etc. Once you get comfortable with that, then you could start doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and with upstrokes. Here, let me shift over my camera here so you can see my guitar a little better. Let's shift over. There we go. Yeah, okay. I'll get my leg out of the way so you can see my right hand. There we go. So again, if we're just doing one downstroke per beat, it would be, I hear the train a-comin', rolling round the bend. If we're doing a down and an up, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, it'd be, I hear the train a-comin', rolling round the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. Well, I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. So it would go like that. Now, once you get comfortable with that, you could get even more complicated in your strum pattern, and you could do 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... So there's a lot of different ways to approach this. And not only that, you can do things differently for each. You really could consider that there'd be 3 guitar parts on this song. So that's the first one we're going to look at, which is just strictly chords. And one more interesting thing about this song is that it actually begins on B7 rather than the tonic chord or the 1 chord. So there's a little intro that goes dun 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 dun. So you're actually starting out on the B7 or the 5 chord that that is the intro lick for this song. There are a fair number of blues songs that follow that format, but you don't always know. So it's always good to ask if somebody is saying, "Hey, let's play Folsom Prison," and you can say, "Okay, what chord do we start on?" Just to make sure, because people will do it a little bit differently. Okay, so that would be the strictly rhythm guitar way to play this song, just dun 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 dun, dun or dun 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 dun. And in the fashion that I was playing it there, it has a little more of a train rhythm. Chung chicka chung chicka chung chicka chung chicka, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and if you want to get even fancier, you can do a little bit of palm muting, so you get. It's got that nice kind of train rolling along type of feeling. Okay, so that would be one way. That'd be the strictly rhythm guitar way to play this. The next way to play it would be that you've actually got more of a blues type of a sound, where you're playing sort of a power chord, because you've got an E and a B, which is the 5, and a power chord is generally just a root and a 5. So in this case, E and B. And we're just talking about those two notes here. And it's very, very common in blues music to use a format like that. Let me turn so you can see my fingers just a little bit better. So you've got two notes, 1 and 5, and then you've also got two notes, 1 and 6. And it's very, very common. You hear this in lots and lots of songs that you'll hear. That's kind of the basic bedrock of 95% of blues songs. And the rhythm may change up a little bit. In this song, it's more like. So I'm just playing an E power chord, and then adding in a 6 so that you get that little bit of movement. The next chord would be the A, and there's a couple of different ways to do that. You could either shift up a string so that you are now playing. Or you can move that E up so that your fingers are now on 5, the 5th fret, sorry, the 5th fret, which is an A, and add in the 6th with your 4th finger. And this isn't a bad technique to get used to, because you will be using it a lot in as you go along playing guitar. So there's the E, here's the A, and then when you get to the B, it's. And notice that I didn't say anything about E7 or B7, and that's just because we're playing more of a power chord, and a power chord just has 2 notes. It doesn't have, it's not major, it's not minor, it's not 7th, diminished, augmented. It's basically just what's known as a dyad, which is just 2 notes only. So, the blues-based approach to this song would be more like this. I hear the train a-comin', rolling round the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. Well, I'm stuck at Folsom Prison. Time keeps dragging on. but that train keeps rolling down the San Andreas. Boy, if I could sing like Johnny Cash. Well, if I could, I guess I wouldn't be me. I'd be Johnny Cash. Anyway, so that would be a more blues-based approach to this song. And you could play that blues-based approach right along with somebody who's playing, and it would fit in just perfectly. Now, there's one other way to look at this, and this would be more of a quote-unquote lead guitar fashion to look at this song. And this way may be a little more difficult, but I'm going to show it to you so that you can kind of know what's possibly in the future. And I'm going to get my guitar showing as much as I can so that you can see both my right and my left hand. And in this case, we're doing somewhat the same thing as we were doing with the blues-based approach, but instead we're actually going to use 3 different strings. And let me play it for you first and then explain. Whoops. So what I've done there is I've formed just basically a chord with a couple of fingers, but we're not going to play it as a chord. We're going to play it as individual notes. So I'm going to play that first E on the lowest string, and then I'm going to play the E that's on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and then I'm going to do a technique called a hammer-on on the 5th string, and that goes like this. So you actually pick an open A, but then you slap down your 2nd finger without picking again, and it gives you basically 2 notes for 1 picking pattern. So or let me simplify that just a little bit. Let's just go like this. And the trick on doing this, aside from trying to explain how to do it and play it at the same time, is to keep all those notes as clean as possible. Now, you will also hear people doing some palm muting where they're putting their palm down right next to the bridge of the guitar so that it gives it a little bit more of a clicky sound. And you'll hear a lot of people playing it that way. So that's the picking pattern and the hand position for that E. And again, we're not going to worry about E versus E7 or B versus B7 because we're not really defining an entire chord in this. So I hear the train a-coming, rolling round the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. Well, and now we're going to go to the 4 chord, which is A. And there's a couple of different ways to do that. You can either shift up so that you're playing your 5th, 3rd, and 4th strings. Or you can stick on the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings and just move your hand position up so that you're at the 5th fret, and you're essentially going to do that same movement up there, but now it's your pinky that's lifting up, or excuse me, it's your 3rd finger that's lifting up and your pinky that's staying the same. Either way is just fine. You may find that some people will do it more in this fashion where they stick with those 3 lowest strings and just move the hand position. And the reason why is when you get to the B, then all you need to do is to go up to the 7th fret and do the same thing. So if you stick with it in that fashion, your picking pattern never changes. And you could start out with your third and fourth fingers making that semi-chord. And the advantage to doing that is because then when you slide it up to the 4 chord, which is on the 5th fret, you're doing that same finger motion on your left hand. And then for the B7 or the B, you've got that same thing going on. And again, the cool thing about all these 3 very different and distinctive guitar parts is that you could have 3 people all playing them and they would still mesh together quite well. So maybe we'll go ahead and call that a wrap on Folsom Prison Blues. There's a lot to digest here. It's a neat song to learn a lot of different techniques and a lot of different concepts. And the nice thing is that you can take any one of those and play it in that fashion, and you'll sound just great, and people will know that it's that great song by Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison Blues. Okay, thanks for watching.